Good evening, everyone. Hillary Clinton, in her recent address in Doha, gave an important advice. She said that it was time to look at civil society as a partner and not as a threat. But very few in the region, in the Middle East, were able to pay heed to her advice. So as a result, now we see middle-class youth, television and social media all teaming up to present to us scenes of volatility that we see from across the Middle East, from countries such as Tunisia, Algeria, Jordan, and now Egypt. So tonight on the platform, we'll be looking at the uprising. Many are calling that a revolution in the Middle East from not only the United States perspective, but we'll also try to examine how can Pakistan learn any lessons, if there are any for it, from the situation there. I'm Farooq, and tonight with me here in the studios are two guests. Let's welcome them. With me first is Dr. Farooq Hasnat. He's a renowned political analyst, and he's also a scholar at the Middle East Institute in Washington. Welcome, Dr. Hasnat. And also we have Mr. Lal Khan. His break, we had reached a very interesting juncture in the discussion where we were looking at and examining the implications of the volatility in Egypt on the Middle East peace process. And one of the concerns that the United States has had over the developments in Egypt is that who will come and fill the vacuum, if any, is created if the Mubarak regime collapses. I want to put this question to you, Dr. Farooq Hasnat, that how crucial is it that about who fills the vacuum if it is created in the event that the Mubarak regime collapses?
This question is extremely important because if we draw an analogy with Pakistan, we had two huge mass movements. One was after Ayub Khan and other was after Bhutto. But both and vacuum was created, but it was filled by the army generals, and then the whole process was reversed. People did the job, but army generals took the advantage. But Iran, it was the other way around. Along with the mass movements, the Iranian security forces also collapsed. And most of the Iranian forces, the lower ranks, they joined the people of Iran. We see a similar situation like Iran, at least for the moment in Egypt, where we see that security forces and police has collapsed to a certain level, and the army is standing on the sidelines. But we also see the youngsters or the lower ranks of the army, they are applauding the people on the streets, and that is a situation which, if it goes on like that, that is a situation which can bring a real revolution. So at the moment, it's a mass movement come revolution in the making. But if some army general is able to fill the vacuum, then the whole thing will be reversed. And this is the bet which the American administration always has, because according to the classical theory, whenever there is a vacuum, the most organized force in the country fills it in, and the most organized force in the country is the army, the security forces. But in Iran, it was proved otherwise.
Right.
So let's hope that in Tunisia and Egypt, it will be more like an Iranian situation than the Pakistani
something
situation.
That's really interesting is it's that the urban middle class that has come out on the streets.
Yeah, but the army security structures has to be watched very carefully.
Right. I just want to put the same question to Mr. Khan. Talking about negotiations, and Dr. Hasnat thinks that it's the army that's the most organized group and in a position to probably fill the vacuum, if any, created in the event of collapsing of the regime. What do you think? Can negotiation...
Vikas, you have a question? Go ahead.
Right. As a matter of fact, Dr. Farooq Hasnat wants to express his opinion and his reaction to what Mr. Kumar was just saying.
I think I'll agree with Mr. Kumar regarding the causes of the revolution or revolution in the making or uprising. Of course, the basic reason is the domestic factors which we have already spelled out. But we should not forget that the Egyptian government was very harsh with the Palestinians. When the Israelis attacked Gaza, they closed the borders. They would not allow the Palestinians even to get medical aid and other facilities. And the role which the Egyptian leadership played in the whole peace process was not liked by the people of Egypt. And I am sure that Wikipedia must have played also a role on the psyche of the Egyptian people. That is why so much hatred was generated, because when they see their leaders lying so low and getting dictations from external powers in order to decide for their future, of course people are upset, because that means erosion of their own sovereignty. And I would say one thing, which was mentioned about the United States, how they will behave, or what will they do. I think if the revolution matures in next few days or weeks, US will have very little leverage to maneuver things in Egypt. Then the societies have their own dynamics. The civil society is going to move ahead. The whole Egyptian society is going to decide for themselves. I don't think Americans will have anything to say regarding whatever happens next in Egypt.
Right. Now my question, Raza, to your guest is somehow in line with what Dr. Hasnat is pointing out. The fact that... what do you say, Dr. Hasnat? Do you think we should be fearful? Is there a lava building up?
I would say that in India there's a lot of misery, there's rampant poverty, there's all kinds of problems, corruption, but there's no chance of revolution. The reason is that wherever you have a process of participation, political participation, one way or the other, then that stream comes out through that methods. Like, for example, if you have elections, if you have a multilateral political party system. In Pakistan, what we see is nearly every important political party is in the government in one form or the other. If they are in opposition and at the federal level, they are rulers of Punjab, and so on and so forth. They are coalition governments also. So the anger and the demands of the people are vented through a free media. Of course, we have a vibrant civil society, and mass such movements have been not exceptional for the Pakistani society. The latest being the judicial movement, which was it was because of judicial movement that Musharraf went away, and we had fair elections where a new regime came in power. So I don't think so. We can draw a very rigid, strict analogy.
So our leaders have already seen the power of this kind of movement.
but having said that, I would say that the leaders should also be very sensitive towards the demands of the people, and they have to fulfill the requirements of the people.
Okay, so results of the uprising in the Middle East are yet to come out, but what we see, these unprecedented scenes that we see coming out from the Middle East should get us thinking, should give us a chance, an opportunity to look within and correct what is wrong with us. I thank my guests in Washington, Mr. Mark Quantum of Center for Strategic Studies, and also Mr. T. Kumar, Director at Amnesty International. My sincere thanks also to Mr. Lal Khan and Dr. Farooq Hasnat. Thank you both for joining us. I'm Vikas Rafiq. Good night.